Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right, so let me make sure that you can hear me before I even start talking. Good morning. Good morning. If this is the first time you've been in one of my live streams, my name is Brill. I am the creator of the Pedestal Wife Society. Basically, I am the Pedestal Wife. So we're going to get to talking about feminine energy is the Midas Touch. This is the beginning of a series. So there's going to be a multitude of videos coming up about feminine energy and how you create, manifest from your feminine energy. So I'm going to let everybody get in the room. Good morning, everybody. How are you doing? How are you doing? Hopefully everything's going well, y'all. I've just had a rough start to March. So that's the reason why you ain't seen me. I've been busy with family. You know, family comes first with me. And so I've been so busy with family that I hadn't had an opportunity to come and check in with the community. But I'm here now. Good morning. Good morning. Corvette Sunset 3. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, I'm glad you can hear me. I want to make sure that you can hear me. The audio needs to be wonderful for this. But feminine energy is the Midas touch. And I'm going to break that down of why feminine energy is the Midas touch. From feminine energy, desire is born and it becomes your wealth. And how do I know this? Because I've experienced it in my own life. I came online. I had a desire. I had only one desire. And that desire was to help women in their inner work and up-leveling of their life. That was my desire. From that desire, a membership was born. And in that membership lives my creativity and my work. And from that, it created income. But that wasn't my goal in the beginning. That wasn't something I actually set out to create. It's something that happened, but it happened from my desire. See, let me explain something about feminine energy. Feminine energy is where you own your truth and live in your creativity and pleasure. And when you do that, you have an open line between you and your intuition. And from your intuition, your desire is born. And when you have your desire can create wealth. Most people are missing that beautiful aspect of feminine energy. The feminine energy is that creativity. It's the faith in knowing. It's the intuition to know whether you should go right or left. If you should say yes or no. And when you have that ultimate connection, you can create wealth. Feminine energy is the Midas touch. Masculine energy is the Hercules energy. It's the energy of doing. It's the energy of building. Most people, most women, they only know one aspect of it. Yes, you need both, but we're going to go into lessons of how you can create both and create that beautiful balance and harmony between the two so that you can supersede your wealth. And it's absolutely possible. So what I need you to do is you might want to take some notes. And I'm going to give you an opportunity to make sure you get a pen, paper, notebook, something so you can write on, because you're going to need something to write on. I'm going to give you the formula to taking your desire and creating your wealth. And it's going to be in a multitude of lessons that I'm going to sum it up and give you a way in order to you can make sure that you tap in your feminine energy, because your feminine energy is the Midas touch. Everything that you touch, anything that you interact with, anything that comes into your world, you will have that Midas touch will become golden. You will become more wealthy. You will become more content, more in alignment. But how do you get there? That's where we're going to start from. That's what we're going to talk about. And that's where we're going to get into it now. So let me make sure that you are here. I'm giving opportunity for people to get settled, for everybody to get in the room, get settled before I start talking. And because I'm not going to go backwards. So you need to make sure you're in the room and you settled in. So let me know when you are ready. Let me see something down below. And you can show me a pen, a pencil, or a note. I don't care which one. I just need to see something showing me that you're ready and you're settled and you're ready for us to have this conversation. How feminine energy is the Midas touch. And I'm going to give you ways to break that down. And you're going to get a series of lessons that's going to help you be able to tap into that part of yourself that's going to lead to your wealth, your creativity, your alignment, your true self. That's what it is. Because when it comes down to it, I'm going to make this easy for you. Feminine energy is your truth. And being in your truth puts you in alignment. And being in alignment gives you that straight line to intuition. And being in and listening to your intuition absolutely delivers desire. And when you have desire, from your desire is your wealth. And a lot of us are missing that because we've been taught by society that you must do, build, work, team no sleep. You hear this all the time on social media. Everybody's like, oh, team no sleep. Baby, I sleep. I get all of my 12 to 18 hours if I'm, tired or whatever. But I get my rest because I understand that my feminine energy has given me the Midas touch. I've created so many things from my desire, and it has parlayed into so many aspects of my life, from wealth to relationships to connections to social circles. It has done so much for me. And I understand that you have to have that side of yourself ready. So let me look in the comments. Good morning, everybody. Vivacious Carmel, hello, ready, yes. Corvette Sunset, ready. Nadia Boops, oh girl, you here to hear? You just here to listen, huh? Okay. First of all, feminine energy does not speak in words, but in body. This is the reason why you may hear a whisper for you to choose something, go left, go right, say yes or no. You may feel something in your gut. That is your intuition. It does not speak in words, but it speaks through our bodies. This is the reason why a lot of times you can get around somebody and they give off bad energy. And what do? You run, or you don't want to interact with that person, or you just like, something's off about this person. Pay attention to it. The more that you pay attention to what your body is telling you, the more that you'll be in alignment to where you're supposed to be. The first thing that you need to have and write down is that feminine energy is your truth. The more that you try to mold yourself to fit into something that does not fit, it's almost like putting on a outfit and it's the wrong size. You out here trying to show up in a certain way so that you can get approval. You're up here going into careers because your family tells you that's the right thing to do. You're up here marrying someone because you spend a lot of time with them. Feminine energy is your truth. Every time that you deny your truth, you're pushing yourself out of alignment. And you push yourself out of alignment, it's harder for you to hear your intuition. Then when your desires come about, they are not the ones that will lead to wealth and overall happiness. So feminine energy is your truth. That's your very first thing you need to write down. You need to stop trying to fit yourself, mold yourself into something that you are not. It is your truth. Feminine energy is how you view you. It's comfort in your mind and body. And when we get out of alignment of that, we reject the intuition and desires of our heart. This is the reason why women are getting into relationships when they know they shouldn't be. I've never met a woman who have said that I shouldn't have married. They've always said I shouldn't have married him. I knew. But I did it anyway because we spent so much time together. Or I did it anyway because we had some kind of compatibility. Or I did it anyway because attraction was, we were good in bed. And women will connect themselves with that man knowing that their intuition is saying no. Their body is yelling no. And when you go out of your truth and out of alignment, it is harder for you to create money from your desires, because the desires that come up will not be the one from your alignment. It's going to be the one from other people. It's going to be the one from maybe your spouse. It's going to be the one from your parents. It's going to come up from the desire is going to come up in situations where you're out of alignment. It's not going to come from you. It's going to come from everybody else. So the number one thing is feminine energy is your truth. Okay, let's not get a little ahead. I'm not going to answer any questions for this right here. Like we're gonna get order and direction, because what I want to do is make sure each lesson that when someone comes in and takes it, that they can follow it. And it's hard to do that if I answer questions out of order. So I'm gonna answer questions at the very end. But if anyone knows King Midas, that is the Midas touch. If you know the story of King Midas, where King Midas desired gold, his whole personality was about the gold. What happens? He got that touch and it cursed his life. But with feminine energy, you have the Midas touch. You have the ability to touch, be a part of, interact with the things in your world, and you can create wealth. That is what the Midas touch is. But that's only a question I'm going to answer, because it's throwing off the lesson. Number one, feminine energy is your truth. It is, if you have the desire to live create your world in the way that you're going to be happy, comfort, ease, you need to make sure that you're living your truth. Alignment is key for that. This means you cannot allow other people to come into your world and tell you how it's going to be. You cannot allow the person that you like or the person that you're married to tell you what it's going to be. You have to make sure that you're living your truth, because feminine energy is your truth. So that's number one. And number two, pay attention to your intuition and desire. Now, let me tell you a funny story. I've had clients come and go. I run a membership. And it's a month-to-month membership. It's not something that's stuck in stone. It's not a contracted membership. And one of the things that I think about when I think about intuition and desire is when I would have young women come in and they'll be like, oh, I want to get this bag, or I want to get these shoes, or I want to get this outfit. And they deny getting that thing for themselves. And I'm like, why won't you get the bag? Why won't you get the shoes? Why won't you get the outfit? Oh, well, it costs too much, or no, I shouldn't have it, or it's not responsible. Oh, no. People are going to say something because of the cost. And I'm saying, the thing is, when you don't pay attention to your intuition and your desire, you literally are declining the ability to create your wealth. And yes, even getting that bag that you desire can start off a chain of events where it will pull you into another circle. It may pull you into meeting the right people. It may pull you into, people who have the ability to pour into you and invest in you. You don't know where the bag is taking you. You don't know where your intuition is taking you. But when you get in your head and you're thinking it to death, you're logicking it to death, and you never move forward, you just have that desire or your intuition is living inside you, and you're ignoring it, you don't know where it may take you. A lot of times when I have seen so much growth in wealth or relationships or connections, it came from into my intuitive nature. It came from my desire. So you pay attention to those things, because see, intuition is the direct line between you and God, and desire is the baby of intuition. So when you decide that, hey, that desire for that new house, oh, it doesn't matter anything, or that desire for the new bag, or the desire for the dress, or whatever that thing is, you ignore it and you say, I don't need it, and you logic it to death, or it's too expensive, or somebody's going to say something, or maybe I don't deserve it, or maybe I'm going to wait and give it to myself as a treat. You don't know where it may lead you. See, your desires is the key to your wealth. That is where you're going to build your fortune. And a lot of women miss out on opportunity because you didn't get the bag. And you don't know what it may lead to. Maybe the bag is a way to give you self-confidence so that you can go and enter into rooms that you would never entered in. Maybe the dress or shoes is a way to go in it, to go to galas, to go to certain events. Is going to help and put you in place of people who are going to invest in you. You don't know where it may lead, but that's the reason why you should not ignore it, because it's from your desire is your wealth. And this is how I've been able to create such passive income and be able to create and build and compound my wealth. And it's not because I'm using masculine energy or Herculean energy, like I like to call it, because that's what it is. We're going to talk about Herculean energy in another video, not this video. Remember, we're trying to get order and directions, and we want to put the lessons in a way that anyone can follow it. But feminine energy is your truth. That's number one. Number two, pay attention to your intuition and desire. You don't know where that bag may lead you. You don't know where those shoes may lead you. You don't know where that investment may lead you. You don't know where your desire may lead you, because your desire can spring and open up more doors and access wealth and circles and connections and relationships that you didn't ever dream about. That's the reason why you pay attention to your intuition and your desire, and you stop logicking it to death, and you stop saying, oh, I'm going to do it another day, or I'm going to get it another time, or I'm going to wait till get on sale, or you got all of these excuses, but you still ain't bought the bag. You still ain't bought the shoe. You still ain't bought the dress. You still haven't invested in yourself. You still haven't done the thing. See, you know how I talked about in another video, I talked about how you need to skip the line. This is how you do it. You skip the line by closing the distance between who you are now to who you want to be. This means you don't logic it to death. You don't talk it to death. You don't talk yourself out of it. You just go and do it. I'm doing it today. I'm doing it in live right in front of you, because one of the things I have is I was taught never to talk about money. Talk about money is tacky. I was taught etiquette. I literally took etiquette classes. So talk about money is etiquette. So when I come up here and I talk about money, or I'm talking about how to create wealth, this goes against everything that I was taught. And so I'm doing it now. I'm showing you how you skip the line. If I want to be this woman that's going to help women not only up level, become more in their feminine energy, be able to access wealth and the connections and relationships that they deserve, I have to be willing to be vulnerable and transparent. I have to be willing to skip the line and say things that normally I wouldn't say, that I was taught not to say. I have to skip this line. So I have to close that distance between who I am today and who I want to be. So if I want to be that woman who does those things, I have to do things that that woman would do. And that's how you skip the line. You do it. So number one was feminine energy is your truth. Number two, pay attention to your intuition and your desire. Number three, don't take the pleasure out of life. I'm saying it again because it's so key. You'll be surprised how many women I meet that just take the pleasure out of life. And when you take the pleasure out of life, you take the feminine out of your body. You kick yourself out of that feminine energy when you take the pleasure out of life. And let's talk about what that looks like, because I think there's a lot of women that's caught up in this dynamic of trying to do, trying to achieve, trying to build. And you forget to create that space where you can be creative and have pleasure. And when you do that, you kick yourself out of your own truth and out of alignment and out of actually experiencing life. Just imagine, and you can see examples of that when you see rich people and they're like making money and they're killing it. They're making millions of dollars. But what pleasure do they have? They're making so much money, but what joy do they have? They have killed the pleasure out of life. And I see women doing this all the time. And sometimes I catch myself doing it too. This is the reason why I have these feminine rituals that set up so I don't take the pleasure out of life. Your feminine needs that space for creativity and pleasure, a space so that you can be, a space where you can just be in alignment and be with self. But when you take it out your life and it's just go, 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 direction, direction, schedule, 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 clock in, clock in, clock in, you take the pleasure out of your life. And you suck the pleasure, the joy out of your life, which actually sucks the creativity out of your life. Because you have to be in that space. You have to be in that space where you can experience pleasure to actually get to creativity so that you can create stuff. See, that's the beauty of feminine energy. Feminine energy has such faith in itself that when they make decisions, they can stand on it. They have such faith in themselves that when they make investments, they know it will grow. They have such intuition that they know which direction to go. And this is all from feminine energy. This is another reason why feminine energy is the way to wealth. And majority of even rich men, super rich men, they have enough feminine energy that they have faith in their business. They have faith in themselves as men. They know, have a sense of knowing of what business to pick that's going to actually bring them wealth. They have that intuitive nature. And this is the reason why it's so key that you understand that feminine energy is the Midas Touch. Feminine energy is the way to true wealth. Yes, of course, you can use some masculine energy, and we're going to talk about how you balance that out. But don't take the pleasure out of your life. Do not take the pleasure out of life. When you take the pleasure out of your life, out of your world, it looks miserable. And it keeps you out of alignment. So it kills and stalls your creativity. So maybe you would have had that space so that you can create that next desire. Or you had that space you can create that next business idea. Or you had that space so that you can create something that's going to bring in that passive income. But when you take the pleasure out of your life and everything is scheduled, go, go, go. I have to have questions answered. I have to have this done. And you don't know how to let go. You don't know how to let go. See, I've always said when you let go, the answers are in the silence, but it's never going to be in a chaotic mind. And that's the reason why feminine energy is key, because it's in the silence that I get my best ideas. It's in the silence I get my epiphanies. It's in the silence I get my next desire. It's in the silence I get my intuitive nudge. I don't get my next direction or next answer that I need by chaos. I don't get it by being stuck in my mind either. I get it from my body and being with self and being okay and, you know, living in my truth. And that's how you will get it also. So don't take the pleasure out of life. Don't take the joy out of life. Don't take the happiness out of life. Leave that there. Feminine energy thrives in that area. It thrives in pleasure and creativity and happiness and flow. It thrives in that. And when you're in that, you've created a space for yourself, you will see your wealth grow. You will see your intuition grow. You will see your discernment grow. You will see anything that you touch, you will see it connect, and you will see behind the scenes. You will see what's working behind closed doors. You have insight that you've never had before, but it's not going to happen when you are go, 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 schedule, schedule, schedule. Let me get everything out of this. And that's why creating feminine rituals is key. And let me tell y'all something that I do. It's going to sound crazy. It's going to sound crazy. Stick with me for a moment. I created feminine rituals for myself. I don't, even when it comes down to the things and ways that I use my money, my personal money, I don't think on how I can get everything from that thing. Let me talk about it for a second. Well, I have memberships myself. I have subscriptions myself in certain things. I have a subscription for Netflix. Now, I don't watch it all the time. What I could do, if I was in my mind and thinking I'm not getting enough from that subscription, what I should do is really cancel it. But since it gives me pleasure to actually have something new popping up every week, or it gives me an opportunity to catch a new movie, I'm going to keep it. And this may sound weird because we live in a world like, oh, if you can't get all your money's worth, you need to cancel it. Or if you can't get all you can out of it, it needs to be gone. But sometimes you have to keep things for pleasure. You have to keep things because it makes you happy, because it brings you joy. And this is the reason why I created feminine rituals for myself that keeps me grounded and with self, so that I can know what's going to work for me. And yes, this means I may buy something, and I guess I am one of those people that I could buy a piece of cake. I'm gonna eat as much, I'm gonna be enjoying pleasure eating part of the cake, but I may not eat all of the cake, because I'm not constantly thinking about, oh, I paid $5 for that cake, I need to eat it all. I'm just gonna take the part that gives me pleasure and joy, and I'm gonna leave the rest, or give the rest away. And when you are setting yourself up like that, where everything has to be in a certain order, or everything has to be scheduled, everything has to be in order, I think that's great for masculine energy and activating that Hercules energy in yourself, which is the other side of the Midas touch. But it makes you unhappy, and it just kills the joy in life. It kills the pleasure in life. And you want to keep your feminine energy at its all-time high, because it's going to be through your feminine energy that you're going to get that creativity, where you're going to have that epiphany that's going to lead you down the path to your wealth. Get that epiphany, go down that path, and get that wealth. Of course, you're going to have to bring in that Hercules energy, which is masculine energy, of building it and creating systems, processes, and rules. And I'm going to talk about that. I have lessons planned out. We're going to go through the entire process, so don't jump ahead. Let's not jump ahead. But create feminine rituals that keep you grounded. Like, you should have something that you're doing every single day that's going to keep you grounded in your feminine energy. Especially when you know that your feminine energy is where your desire is going to manifest. And where your desire manifests, that's where your wealth is going to be. That's where your wealth is going to be. Because when I got started, all I wanted, I'm going to tell you this, I never thought about money. All I wanted was, I want to help women. I want to activate the feminine energy. I want to help them up level. I never thought about money. But from that desire, a membership sprung. And in that membership is my creativity and my work. And from that, passive income has been created. But that was never the goal. So your desire is your wealth. And that's why feminine energy is so key to being able to get to that space, because you have to create it. You have to create it by having rituals that's going to keep you grounded. For myself personally, it is meditation, prayer, journaling, feminine communication, and connection. I love getting up here having these conversations. Anytime that I do, I have an epiphany, another door opens up, and I kind of get a nudge of where I need to go next. So those are my rituals, the way that I need to ground myself. And some of you already have that. So I'm going to ask you, what feminine rituals do you have that ground you, that you do every day, that kind of brings you back to yourself? And that's what grounding means. It brings you back to yourself. It brings you back into your body and out of your mind. It brings you away from the chaos of your mind and all your thoughts and all your thinkings and all your schedules and all your to-do lists. It brings you back into your body and how you feel. And, and it relaxes you and calms you so you can begin your day. What is your feminine ritual? I want to hear from you. You can comment down below. But my feminine rituals bring me calm and peace so that I can connect and be connecting to my feminine, to my truth, because feminine energy is your truth. Remember, feminine energy is how you receive you. It's how you receive you, and how comfortable you are in your mind and body. That is your feminine energy. Started stretching and doing yoga. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. That's a great one. That's a great one. That's a great one. So started stretching and doing yoga. Some people drink coffee before they get up to start their day. That's actually a ritual, especially if that ritual brings you about a peace and calm, and it gives you a moment just to kind of do a body scan of how you feel. Usually when I do like prayer and meditation, it gives me a sense of calm. A calmness just spreads over me from head to toe. And that sense of calm gives me the ability, the space to be able to just act, to put a question in my body, and then the answer comes up. Like even before I wanted to really do and touch on this conversation, I wanted to figure out how do I want to do it? Because one of my issues, and like I said, y'all know I don't mind being vulnerable. One of my issues is that since I did not start out this was never my intention. Passive income was never my intention. Business was never my intention. My intention was to get up and just have that feminine communication and conversation to help women talk about feminine energy, relationships, and wealth, and friendships, and getting the desires of their heart. That was my desire. That's what I wanted to do. And since that's all I wanted to do, I don't have like the hurtling energy that should be a part of business. And I have to start putting it in. And that's what I've been doing lately, like restructuring to put that part in, because when it comes down to it, you have to have that Midas energy, which is the feminine energy, which is the creativity, the faith in knowing, the intuitive nature. Then you have to have that masculine energy, which is the building, the sales, and the processes and systems, all in that. And then that comes together to create and supersede wealth. It takes you and whatever you're creating to a whole nother level. But today we're just focusing in on feminine energy, the Midas energy. And we will get at the end of the lessons, we'll get to how you balance those out in order to create wealth on top of wealth. All right, so anybody else have feminine rituals? Because that's going to be key. You need to have some type of feminine rituals that keep you grounded. Because what happens is when we start our day, we have this pinchment to start with what was yesterday. Like what problems we had yesterday, or what we didn't finish, or what we need to do. If you wake up like that, that's not going to help you to tap into self. Remember, feminine energy is your truth. Feminine energy is that connection with self, so that you can connect with your intuition. You can get those little intuitive nudges that tell you, hey, you need to go right. Or, hey, you need to go left. Or, hey, you need to invest in this. Or, hey, you need to do this. So you need to create something for yourself, a space where you can go into it in calm and peace. But feminine energy is the Midas touch. And Because of the fact, this is where you're going to get your creativity from. This is where you're going to get your faith from. This is where you're going to get your knowing from. This is where you're going to get your comfort from. This is where you're going to get your ease from. This is also going to where you get your pleasure from. This is the reason why you see so many people who are team mode, no sleep, team work. And where's the joy? Where's the pleasure? Where's the happiness? Some of these people are literally going to work themselves to death because the Midas Touch, the feminine energy is missing. It's not cultivated. Meditation, gratitude, prayer, set intentions for the day. And I read or work on myself for 30 minutes to an hour. Absolutely. I love it. I love it. You have to put yourself in that space. Putting yourself in that space is so key, especially if you want to build or bring wealth in your world, or you want to create wealth in your world. Like, that is how you're going to know where to go and know what to do and know where your creativity is going to lie and know where your faith is. Because when I first started, all I thought about was, hey, all I want to do is be able to do my live streams, and I want to be able to teach, and I want to have that connection with women, and I want to help them up-level their lives. I want to help them live a life that they're going to be proud of. And when I got that started, that was from a desire. So the reason I talk about this is not to brag or be arrogant or just put it in your face and say, nah, nah, boo boo, this is what I did. No, I'm putting it in front of you because I want you to realize this is how all of this came from a desire. And I created growing wealth from it, created growing income from it. But that was never the end goal. I never sit here and say, oh, well, I want to make this certain amount of money from this. I want to bring this certain amount. No, this is the reason why you're not going to start with money. That will be the hurtling masculine energy when you start with money. You start with, oh, I want to make this amount of money. This means you're setting yourself up with the intention of you're going to go out here and work until you get that amount of money. But if you do it with the Midas Touch, with feminine energy, you're going to actually do it from your desire and your intuition. You're going to take being yourself and being honest with yourself about what you want out of life. Like, you have to stop going and just doing things because you see other people doing it. This is the reason why you're never going to see me or catch me being trendy. I may say some words out here on social media, but I'm going to tell you, I am not trendy. I am not that girl. What I do is I understand social media, and I try to speak to you in a way so that you can get me, and I can pull in more women who desire to live in their feminine energy. And they want to see wealth. They want to see connection. They want to see relationship. They want to see marriage from it. And I'm your girl for that. I'm your girl for that. Because I've already done it. I've already done it. And so me talking about the membership, what is the membership? I want you to think about this. Because maybe when I said it, it kind of, went over. Because maybe I blew past it really quickly. Because that's my response. That's my issue right here, especially being a woman who was taught that it's tacky to even talk about money. So I'm showing up. I'm skipping the line. I'm doing the thing. I'm doing it in live action just so you can see. When I say skip the line, I'm not telling you to do something that I won't do. I'm doing it too. I'm showing up and talking about something that I was taught you shouldn't talk about in public. You should only talk about behind closed doors. Okay? But what is a membership? The membership, some of you may say, oh, the membership is just a bunch of videos or it's a bunch of pieces of content that is supposed to help someone level up. But in actuality, the membership was nothing but a desire. The membership was actualized through my desire to help. So through me wanting to create something to help, the membership was born. And through the membership being born, it created income. So I want you to realize, yes, your desire can create wealth. And that's what feminine energy does for you. That's the reason why a lot of people who have this super wealth, and you keep seeing them getting wealthy and wealthy and wealthy, they have enough feminine energy so that they can grow their wealth and create it. They can attract those things that bring in wealth. But feminine energy, from feminine energy was desire. And from that desire, income and wealth can be born. But you have to, in order to get there, you have to actually start being truth and owning your truth. You cannot allow whatever's going on in your world to dissuade you or persuade you that you shouldn't be doing it. Like, a lot of us want to do the logical thing And that's your masculine energy. You want to do the logical thing. You want to do the thing that makes sense. You want to do the thing that everybody, that has somewhat of a blueprint. And that's actually what you're taught when people talk about business. They talk about, oh, there's a blueprint to success. They talk about, oh, you just got to follow these instructions. The thing is, when you do it that way, I'm not saying you won't be successful, because there's plenty of people who are successful with just using masculine energy and Herculean energy. That's what I call it. They're successful, but they take the joy and pleasure out of it. They take the alignment out of it. They actually sometimes have to fight against their own nature in order to achieve it. When I'm talking about feminine energy, I'm talking about owning your truth, being in alignment, owning what you truly want in this world. And sometimes this means going off script. Sometimes it means going off the blueprint. Sometimes it means doing what's right for you versus what the world told you is the way to do it. From your desires, wealth can be born. You just have to learn to tap in and not ignore those intuitive nudges that you have. You have to stop ignoring your desires. You desire something and you talk yourself out of it. You do it all the time. I have clients who do it all the time. And all I do is why. I'm lately I've been so why are you not doing it? Why aren't you doing that thing? That thing has a hold of you. It has you in a chokehold. But instead of you doing it, you keep saying, oh, it's not the right time, or you give yourself so many excuses. You don't know where your desire or intuition will lead you. You don't know. It may be opening up doors so that you can get someone who's gonna, it may be something that's gonna bring in a relationship, some type of connection. It may be bringing new people in. It may bring in new ideas for business. It may do. You don't know what it's gonna do. That's the reason why you have to stop ignoring your intuition and desire and follow it. Start following that journey. Start following your intuition. Start following your desire. Because that's the reason why I talked about the membership. Like I said, I'm not talking about it to be arrogant. That's not even me. I'm not talking about it to say, hey, I'm better than you, or this is how you do something. No, I'm telling you this because that was never my intention in the beginning. It was a desire. And from the desire brought in income and more wealth. But you have to stop ignoring it. You have to stop ignoring it. Feminine energy is your truth. Pay attention to your intuition and desire. Don't take the pleasure out of your life. Don't take the joy out of your life, the happiness out of your life. Like, what does it matter if you're super wealthy, but you're unhappy? Like, what does it matter? What does it matter if you don't like your life, if you have so much money? Some people will say, yeah, I would love to have that and I wouldn't care about the rest. But you won't know until you actually achieve that. There are some miserable people in this world, and they have everything, but they're miserable. They have all the things, but they don't like the world that they created. They would love to have some pleasure and joy and happiness in their life. And that's the reason why I say you don't want to take that out. Being a feminine energy woman, having that space for creativity, pleasure, and joy, this will bring you so in alignment with your feminine energy. And this also will help increase your intuition and give you that desired connection with desire. Remember, your intuition is that direct line from you to God. And the desire is the baby of your intuition. So you don't want to ignore either or, but you have to create a space where that can thrive. So you have to do your due diligence. Every single day you have to get up and you have to create a life where these things thrive in. So you have to create a life where you have pleasure, where you have joy, where you have happiness. It cannot be full of all to-do lists and schedules and things that you got to get done. When you do that to yourself, it can't penetrate through the chaos. The answer cannot come through you through the chaos. It cannot come through you because it has to get through everything else that's surrounding you. So you have to create that space for yourself. You have to create that space for yourself where you can be happiness. Feminine energy is your truth. Never forget that. And it being your truth, create that space where it can thrive. Use the things that can support you in your journey, even if you don't. Remember, feminine energy is not about a man. That's why we're not going to talk about one in these series. Because it doesn't matter if you have a man or not. You can still activate that feminine energy and create this dynamic where everything that you touch is golden. Everything that you interact with grows. Everything that you have multiplies. And you do this by being and living your truth and being in alignment. And I know this sounds broad because this is the first lesson. The first lesson is broadness. in the following lessons, what we're going to do, we're going to break down each idea, because I know some of you are just, gnawing at the bit. You want all of the ideas broken down. We're going to do that. And it's going to lead up to a workshop that we're going to be doing called the Midas Touch of Feminine Energy, April 16th, 12 p.m. And we're going to break down so many different ideas. 3 of the videos will be available on social media. The rest of them will live in the Midas Touch of Feminine Energy. But you have to create that space. It's not going to thrive if you don't create that space for it to happen. So if your world is full of to-do lists, things you got to get done, if you're building something, if you're working hard, if your team no sleep right now, you need to create that space where your feminine energy can thrive. Because it's going to be through your feminine energy where you're going to have these epiphanies, these intuitive nudges that's going to help expand your ideas or your business. The reason I know this is that when I take and go through my feminine rituals of meditation and prayer, one of the things that came to me, not only this topic came to me, it came to me that I need to put in more rules, systems, and processes in my business so that I don't get out of balance, especially because I want it to continue to grow, even though it wasn't my original plan. It wasn't my plan. It was my desire just to help women that brought all of this about. But for one desire, one seed that was planted, all of this happened. All of this happened. So this is the reason why I want to, and if you think about a membership, it's nothing more than my creativity and my work. All of that happened from one little desire, one little seed planted, that I need to get out here and I need to talk to women. And I need to help women up level. And I need women to connect back to their feminine energy. Because I want women to have pleasure and ease and comfort. I want women to do it in a way where it's not, you're not team no sleep. You're not team work, 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 work. I want you to have it easy because it can be easy. And I did it first. So I actually have things that I can teach you so that you can implement these in your life. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stop there and open up the thing for Q&A. But one of the things I need you to do, if I say we're going to address that in lesson 2, I need you to accept that. This is where I'm going to need you to do one thing for me. Put your trust in me. Let me be able to lead you in this and get to each lesson one at a time so that it's not confusing. And that's all I need for you to do. Put your trust in me so that I can teach this and put it in a certain way where it's going to be easy to follow. I've always dreamed of living in different countries. I've been receiving signs since Sunday to follow that dream. This live stream is another sign of God to pursue my dream. Absolutely. And see, the thing is, I knew. I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to say I knew, because something was like, at first I was like, I don't want to get on social media because there's a certain things that social media does where if a woman comes up and she's somewhat privileged, you think they're bragging. And I didn't want to be that woman. But then I realized that if I don't speak